is the best player to never hit the big time.
It's an easy game, this golf.
But ever since he met Dr. Molly Griswold,
I think I'm in love with you.
What?
he's been changing his whole approach.
I find him mildly attractive when he's obnoxious and arrogant like this.
That's his best side.
From the creator of Bull Durham,
Kind of like the old days, isn't it?
Kevin Costner, Rene Russo,
I highly recommend The Shovel.
Tin Cup, rated R. Starts Friday, August 16th.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
What's not to love?
Right. Movie Life Crisis Season 6, Episode 8, Tin Cup. We're going to kind of speed run a little bit of our regular episode stuff because we interviewed writer-director Ron Shelton, and we want to include as much of that interview as possible.
Amazing.
So,
thanks again.
yeah, super fun talking to a guy who wrote and directed some of our favorite sports movies.
Yeah, dude, and this is mid-90s, like, sports comedy boom. This is, like,
Yeah.
when it was really, it was kicking.
Yeah, so let's jump right in, man. Give us a synopsis.
All right, synopsis. A gifted golfer screw-up, gets one last shot at glory, falls for the wrong woman at exactly the wrong time, and turns a major championship into a referendum on ego, fear, and legend.
Yeah. Budget, $45 million. Gross, $75 million. Number 29
right.
in the year. Top 30 between Primal Fear and Sleepers. All told, pretty good.
Yeah.
Probably a little bit disappointing for Warner Brothers, the studio, based on Ron Shelton's previous movies. Kevin Costner is a huge star, but is also just coming off of Waterworld, so maybe a little bit of... Like, people forget how much backlash Waterworld got, even though we did it on the podcast last year, and it's better than you remember.
Yeah.
I've got the novelization if anyone's interested. But yeah, but this is a movie I think that probably had real legs on VHS because I know that's how I watched it, and I think I owned a copy of this from probably like 97 up until right now.
Yeah, you don't have it on DVD? This is the one I want. Like, I like these rom-coms
I
that
had
you
it on
just throw in
VHS
and
and
let
then I
it,
have it
let
on
it go.
DVD too.
Yeah. Yeah, this is one of the ones you could just put on.
Yeah. Just feel good sports, rom-com, comedy.
What's not to love?
Yeah.
Doesn't have a happy ending?
Awards?
Or does it? Kevin Costner receives a Golden Globe nomination for Best Actor. But it's hard because you're not going to win because it's a motion picture, musical, or a comedy, and those never win big things.
No. Yeah. He's great in this.
Wonderful.
Sequels and spinoffs, none. Although
Yet.
Ron Shelton did just tell us that he's got a great treatment for a 10 Cup too if he can get anybody to make it. I don't know. What are we waiting around for? Let's do that.
Yeah, who's listening to this that has enough money to make that happen? Let's do it.
I've got a pitch for it. You guys I think you're gonna like it. It's Kevin Costner. He owns a much nicer driving range. He's married to Dr. Molly Griswold, Rene Russo. Kevin Costner, Rene Russo, still great casting. And he's going to take a young prodigy and he's going to train him to play golf. But twist, the young prodigy is a humanoid-sized mutant armadillo. So now we get, that's what we call a 4-quadrant movie right there.
I thought for sure you were going to say it's David Sims, Don Johnson's kid.
I mean, I like that too. That's probably a better idea, but I'm just saying 4-quadrant movie. Mutant armadillo golfer with star power. I think we could do it.
Oh, man, that's... when I think of a big armadillo, all I think of is Necessary Roughness, that mascot with the big cowboy hat. Fumbalaya.
Fumbaruski.
Yeah,
man. Do you remember when you first saw this? I had to have seen this right when it came out. Summertime, like.
Dude,
I'm
this
16.
this is Kevin Costner's in a movie. My mom's like, let's go see it.
Yeah.
Because I can remember, like, it was, they had enough of the sexy time for me to feel awkward about it, but not like I can't sit next to my mom and watch it.
Right. By the way, the tagline on the poster I'm looking at right now says Kevin Costner, Rene Russo, 10 Cup, and then above 10 Cup it says Golf Pro, Love Amateur. That's great. I don't know who wrote the tagline, but that's great.
Oh, man. I like how all the posters have him in a pair of what looks like boxers and a wife beater.
Yeah, and his like kind of backwards hat, but like not like my backwards hat. His is like kind of off kilter a little bit.
He just turns it around. It's natural. It's just how it lands. It's just how it happens like that.
Yeah, man. Okay,
Yeah.
let's do ratings 1 to 10. No 7s. Where's this one land?
Dude, this is a solid 9 for me.
Yeah.
There's nothing that I don't remember liking about it that I didn't like still about it.
Yeah.
So yeah, 9. Dude, it's a freaking rom-com with that. We don't get those anymore. And it's heavy on the rom and heavy on the com. And I like both of that. And you do, the vehicle that you're giving it to me is sports. And it's a sport that somebody that's old and white and fat can play. Like, come on. How many things can you do all for me at once?
Yeah, this is, and this is, because I'm trying to think of like, there are plenty of other kind of loosely sports movies that have a romantic element. This, I think, is maybe threads the needle as well or better than any of them, where it's like half rom-com, half sports movie. A lot of them are like what's the other Kevin Costner movie one? Clear the Mechanism, For Love of the Game.
For
Too
Love
much
of the
rom,
Game.
not enough
Yeah.
baseball. But
Right.
so like it's hard to like get them both in there, but this one freaking nails it.
Yeah. I don't like when it's sports and rom, but no com, though.
Yes, don't like that either. Yeah,
Yeah.
you gotta.
They
thread
do
the
that.
needle.
They do that sometimes.
This one does that really well. The casting is great. Kevin
Yeah.
Costner. I said it's a Ron Shelton. I think it's an underrated performance. He's really funny. He's
Yeah.
totally believable.
He
He's
is.
this like kind of middle-aged driving range loser who's like teaching people how to play golf while wearing flip-flops with armadillos everywhere. It's freaking great. He's like eating hot dogs out of a jar. He's he just threw that in a spa. He's just got a freaking inflatable pool outside of his Winnebago that he lives in with Cheech.
That he
I guess.
lives in. Yeah.
God. Cheech Marin, freaking Don Johnson, Gary
Yeah.
McCord, like Jim Nance, a bunch of like golf cameos.
Yeah.
It's got so many good scenes. It's got so many quotable lines. I gave it an 8 out of 10.
Nice.
It hits the 8s for me for a couple of reasons. One is I don't love the music. I never thought the music fit with the movie in certain places. There's a couple like.
What
song
about that
choices.
Kebmo jam, though?
I like Kebmo. That's a great one. And the
Yeah.
score is pretty good, but there's a couple of like song cues that I'm like, oh God, I don't like that one that much. And
Yeah.
the other thing, 138 minutes. A little bit too long.
Really?
Yeah.
'Cause
There's not a lot that I would take out. Because I started thinking about it, and I'm like, the stuff that I could cut out, like
Yeah.
I could cut out when he and Romeo, his buddy / caddy, played by Cheech Marin, go with farm implements to play a guy with a rake, a shovel, and a baseball bat to win back his money to get his golf clubs out of hock. I
Yeah.
could cut that out. I
Yeah.
wouldn't do that. I love that
No,
part.
don't do that. Yeah, don't do that. I like that.
And like I could cut out when he goes to visit Rene Russo in the shrink's office, and then he drives
No.
along by the river. I don't want to do that
freaking
either.
I love that.
So
I love that
like
too.
that's what I'm saying. I don't have anything that I want to remove. I just know. And if you look at the Ron Shelton's other movies, especially the sports movies, they all land about 108 to 110-ish minutes. This is 134. And for me, when you get to be like 220, I'm like, I want it to be a little bit shorter. But I don't know what I would
Right.
take out.
Yeah, I don't
Those
know
are the
either
only
because
those are the only two dings I can give it. I think this is
Right.
a really fun, super enjoyable, very rewatchable movie.
Yeah, super rewatchable for me.
All right, let's do our best scenes. My first one is the one I just talked about when he goes to play the guy with the rake and the shovel and the baseball bat.
God, it's so great.
He
That's so great.
freaking pawns his golf clubs, and then he has to get him out of hock to go try to win the U.S. Open, which is his like plan to be able to steal Rene Russo from Don Johnson, who's a pro golfer, and
With
freaking-
fantastic hair.
with great hair. And Cheech Marin, his buddy Romeo, is like, you don't even have the money to get your golf clubs out of hock, and he freaking just goes and
He
Plays a rich
plays the guy who he won the Winnebago off of that he lives in. That's great. That's
I
great.
did, and I love, and they're just doing this stuff where it's like, he's like, yeah, 173, a little bit of wind. He's like, I recommend the shovel. He takes the shovel, just whacks the ball.
I like when he after he hits it and he
Throws it in
just
the
crushes it
ground.
and he stabs it in the ground like that. That's wonderful.
He lays down on the ground and uses the rake like a pool cue to shoot the ball into the hole.
That's great. That's
my
great.
first one.
So my first one is very similar, not that one. It's the 7-iron only qualifier. When he's in the qualifier and he gets in this heated argument with Romeo Cheech over his club selection, and Romeo gets mad and breaks the club. And then Roy, of course, can't let that go, so he snaps a bunch of them. He's like, I always heard this one, just snap, and this one too, snap. Oh, dude, it's great. And then he's like, but not all 7-iron. He's like rubbing it and holding it close to his face. And then he freaking finishes out the whole back nine with just a 7-iron.
That one's in my quotes.
Yeah, that's one of my quotes too. It's like, hell, it never even occurred to me to try. Freaking come on, man.
But also, dude, he's like, he's freaking talking. He's like, what was my best shot? Was it 7-iron on 14? Or what about that bunker shot on 16, which I believe was also with 7-iron? And dude, he's like talking to him, and Rene Russo's like, she's like, how would you grade my performance? He's like, you failed miserably. He's like, what are you talking about? He's like, I just qualified. He's like, from the mental side, you regressed. He's like, your caddy quit. He's like, well, he always quits.
Oh, man.
He's like, you broke every club in your back. He's like, no, I didn't. He broke 2 of them. Like, all that shit.
He's trying to get her on a technicality. Yeah, no, it's great.
That dialogue.
It's great.
That is freaking fantastic.
Yeah, that was my first one because it's fantastic. And I
my
can
second
also
one
only hit
is
a 7.
when he's in the bar at the U.S. Open and he's just shot an 83 because he played hungover and he decided he was going to play. He learned his lesson.
That was Cheech's fault.
Give me the 2-iron. He's like, yeah, it might have been a bad bit of coaching. And, dude, he's sitting there at the bar wearing his, like, freaking windbreaker that's got, like, Salome, Texas, like, life insurance stickers and shit on it, like the world's poorest NASCAR driver.
Yeah.
And he's, like, holding a glass of whiskey. And David Sims, Don Johnson, comes up and he goes, you know, I once played a Pro-Am out here with some kind of movie star. He's like, he shot an 82. How did a legendary ball striker such as yourself shoot an 83? And he goes, well, I missed a 4-foot putt on 18 for 82. And then they do the bet where he's going to hit the freaking
Rene
golf
Russo
shot through the bar, out over the water, and then hit a post and then scare away a freaking pelican.
Yeah, that's great.
That whole scene. And like Gary McCord from the PGA Tour, who the story is based off of, because it happened to him and he did that in real life. He's holding the freaking soda gun, commentating, and like Cheech Marin is like pushing everybody out of the way. Like, give me a gallery, Romeo.
That's
I
great.
always remember that. I freaking love that. I also like. Did you watch Stick on Apple TV with Owen Wilson?
No.
It's kind of a lot like this because he's like a guy who should have been on the golf tour and he like flamed out and he's like working at a driving range and he's going to mentor a young kid. But they're doing stuff like this in the first couple episodes. Him and Mark Maron, they're going into bars and he's like he's conning people into like doing long putts like across the bar. And every time I watched sequences like that in Stick, I'd be like, that's from Tin Cup.
Dude, the whole time that she's telling him, you know what, I bet he could do it from here through the thing, hit that and scare the pelican off. And the whole time Cheech is like looking out the window. He's like, hey, boss, I think you could do this. I think you can make this shot.
You got that.
That's freaking great. That's great.
What's your next one?
My next one is the 62 at the U.S. Open.
Yeah.
So he's in over his head. Suddenly he locks it in. The local hero story that always happens in movies like this. And Jim Nance is like, sells the whole scale of the whole thing. And like, he just recorded 62 in a major. And that whole thing that Jim Nance is doing, it was just great. And apparently, during the production, he was reading that thing in the back of a rental car to record that part. Nice. That whole part, I was like, oh, hell yes. Because I remember what happens in the end. But when I was watching it, dude, I was in. It brought me back in. And I forgot about that. And I'm like, oh, hell yeah, he's coming back now. He's really kicking butt.
Yeah.
I
would have loved, if we had more time to talk to Ron Shelton, I would have loved to have talked to him about what you were talking about, which is like to produce golf and make it, because golf is like, the final round is happening over the course of like a 12-hour day. The golfers all have different start times. So like this, it's not really a linear sporting event where like the buzzer sounds and then there's a final score. But
Right.
like when they cut it together to make it seem like there's drama, it's like, dude, how do they do that? How did you guys do that in the movie? Because that's awesome.
Yeah, I always think about that too. What if the guy who goes first, I mean, typically they don't do this, but what if the guy that goes first is the guy that kills it and hits a 62 in the U.S. Open?
Right.
Then there's
And
no
the
more
whole rest of the
drama.
day, everyone's bored.
Yeah, everybody's just like, well, that guy already hit a 62. These guys are all way over that, and there's no mathematical way for them to catch up. I'm going to go watch Price is Right. Like, yeah.
That's a good one. My third scene is, man, it's hard to choose because there's a lot of great scenes and there's a lot of memorable scenes, but I was thinking about it. I was like, I think my third scene is going to be Roy goes to therapy.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Just because, like,
30 minutes is enough. I'm not that fucked up.
Rene Russo is a therapist. And he's like telling Cheech, he's like, I don't feel like kind of messed up in my head. I was like, I need to probably talk to somebody. He's like, you don't know any shrinks. He's like, well, I know one. He's like, you can't go talk to the girl you have a crush on. He's like, well, why not? Dude, and he goes into her freaking office. He's wearing a short sleeve, button-up shirt with, I'm sure, a clip-on tie.
And it's like, tucked in tight.
It's freaking... And, dude, he's got his hat on, and he's got his golf cleats, but he took the spikes out of him.
Yeah.
And he's going in through the exit. She's still out there crying in the exit room. I knew it was some kind of room. There was no magazines, and it wasn't painted.
That's in my quotes, dude. When he storms out at the end, he's like, "You're still in the exit room," and she starts crying again. Crime and
he's trying to like get her advice on his like theoretical, and she's like, "He's an idiot." She's like, no, he's not an idiot. He's really smart. He's like, no, he's a juvenile idiot. He's like, well, you're not understanding. She's like, Roy, we're talking about you.
That's great. That's so great.
Dude. And then she's like, just speak from the heart, and you can't make a mistake. And then he just goes, I think I'm falling in love with you. And then, dude, it flip flops. And he's like, you told me to say that. She's like, I didn't know you meant me. Shit.
That's great. That's really great.
That one friggin' cracked me up.
Yeah, that's. I definitely don't want to take that part out. I love that part of him going to therapy, especially for the poor lady in the in the exit room, that's crying. And that's where he first tells her, like, you're the wrong guy. Your boyfriend hates old people, hates children and dogs. And that theme just keeps coming up. And the other guys from the driving range, they're all like, yeah, and dogs too. He hates dogs. Don't forget dogs. That's freaking great. That's a good one. And because you picked that one, I'm going to go with the one that I feel like everybody wants to choose, and that's the Immortal 12 on the 18th hole of the U.S. Open, where he refuses to lay up. And he just keeps snapping and asking for the ball, which nobody gets.
Shot after shot into the water. By the way, this is round 4 because golf tournaments last 4 days, 4 rounds.
Right.
And every other round, he also sent the goddamn ball into the water, and he's just doing it over and over again.
Yeah.
And it's excruciating to watch. It's definitely the most memorable scene from the movie.
Yeah, dude. And the fact that he can make it, he knows he can make it, and they kept going over and landing on the green, but then rolling all the way off because it's such a strong grade. Dude, I freaking loved it. I loved it. And the fact that, and I was telling Ron Shelton this, like, he holds the ball up after he pulls it out. Or like when they both walk up and Cheech and him both look in there and they look at each other and nod, and then they reach in and pull it out and he holds it up and everybody starts cheering and he freaking throws it in the water.
Yeah, that's right.
Come on. I mean, why would he throw that in there, though? That's a brand new Titleist. All these, they're brand new Titleists.
Stick a couple in the bag.
Just put a couple in the bag. I don't know how you write that stuff. That's fantastic.
Yeah, dude, that is absolutely delightful. Let's pause right here. We'll give you our interview with writer-director Ron Shelton, and then we'll come back and we'll do our quotes and take it the rest of the way. How you feel about that?
Yeah, it's great. Let's do it.
All right. Ron Shelton is an acclaimed writer-director and former minor league baseball player known for celebrated and iconic films like Bull Durham, White Men Can't Jump, Tin Cup, and Blue Chips, and those are just the movies that we've done on this podcast. We're delighted to have a few minutes with him today. Jeff, get it started.
Yes. Again, thank you so much for doing this. This is great. I started reading a golf digest thing from a long time ago that you had done, and you were talking about Westerns. And then in your book, JT and I were talking earlier that you talked about Westerns We do a lot of those on here too. When Roy is standing over that shot on 18, when you're picturing it, when you're writing stuff, and I saw you talk about like Peck and Paw, and we talk about him all the time, Bloody Sam. We like the ending, you called it a Western. What did you mean when you said it's like a Western?
Well, it ends up, the whole third act is a gunfight, mano-a-mano gunfight with two guys. I mean, golf, if you've been to golf tournaments, they make no sense. It's 150 guys on 150 acres. You don't know who's winning. You don't know anything. Right. It only makes sense on television. And I got to know those guys, Frank Turkanian, who invented televised golf, and how they tell the story in the trailer with 85 monitors that doesn't exist except to the home viewer. It's quite brilliant because how they juggle all this, and then the announcers out there getting multiple feeds in their ears. I mean, guys like Jim Nance, and I'm very close with Gary McCord, who's not there at the moment. Live broadcasting is an unrecognized art form. Having said that, how do you reduce golf to something that's primal? And that's what it is. It's the good guy and the bad guy, and they've each got a gun, and they've got one round to solve it. So nice. I was thinking of Western all the time.
Nice. Yeah. So like the balls going in the water one after another, that's just your version of the on-screen violence just going back and forth?
No, it's not. At that point, it's not about the violence. It's honestly about, this guy's self-destructive behavior, which is also a Western theme. But he's managed to hold it together for 71 and a half holes because of a woman. But there's something greater driving him, and that's this idea of immortality, which is an absurd thing to drive you.
That's great.
So there's sort of greatness in his 12, which she tells him later,
Right, at the end, yeah, absolutely.
Well, it's a great point, because it's, even if you follow it closely, like how many of the last Masters winners can you really name? But if you pay attention to sports, you kind of remember the meltdowns, like you remember the bad hop ground balls that people missed, and the strikeouts, and the and the meltdowns. It's kind of crazy. It's an amazing thing about sports.
I talk about this in my book. Athletes remember their failures, not their successes. Good athletes. Bad athletes will tell you about what they did. A real athlete will tell you about the ball through the legs, the strikeout, the missed putt, from 2 feet. And that's how you know you're with real athletes or real filmmakers or real writers, because they never think they get it right. It's always, I should shoot that scene again. I need to rewrite that, This isn't good enough. That's coming from the top people.
That's great.
Well, that's great about the movie too. Like, perfection is unattainable. If never a more true statement was said about golf, right?
Yeah, it's an impossible sport, and it sort of makes no sense to anybody except if you play golf, and then it makes total sense.
Well, Jeff and I played golf when we grew up together, and I distinctly remember if anybody went into a pond, you immediately would hold your hand out and snap and just demand another ball.
Oh, man.
Well, the story's been told now by Tigers. I don't know if it's apocryphal or not, but I hope it's true, because it's better than true. When he ran away with the U.S. Open at Pebble Beach, that he forgot to pack extra balls, and remember he lost a ball, and he came to the last hole with all that Pacific Ocean and howling wind, and he didn't have any extra balls. So if he hits it in the water, he's disqualified.
It's done, yeah.
I can't remember that famous caddy, the Australian guy, but if it's not true, it should be true. And so when he hit the fairway and then hit the layup, the caddy was off the hook. Otherwise, it would have been the greatest meltdown.
Yeah, just like at the end when he finally, Roy makes it in and he holds it up and throws it into the water. My son, who's only 13 and was watching that part with me, he just lit up. He was like, "Oh, that's the greatest! That's so cool!" That was his favorite part. That was his favorite part.
I'm glad, because I wanted to make him momentarily triumphant walking up there, like he just won the Masters. And,
That's so great. That's
in
so
a certain
great.
way he had in his terms.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you mentioned Gary McCord, and I had a question about that because I read that a lot of the golf beats from the movie were based on his kind of real life events, like the bar, the penguin on the post, the 8 balls in the water, the pelican. Thank you. Did you meet Gary before writing, or did that stuff come together as you were shooting? Or tell me about
I met
that.
him after the script was greenlit, and I flew to Vail and met him, and we became fast friends. And the pelican story I had read in a magazine that he had told, so I just stole that. But the other ones he had never told me about at the Texas Open, where he kept throwing a ball down to prove he could do the shot. That had never been published before.
That's
so. And then when I said I want to hit one off the porta potty, he had some story that he'd done it somewhere. So. Mostly, John Norville and I, my co-writer, is a wonderful, wonderful golfer. He played golf at Stanford. That's how good he is.
Man.
And he's a terrific writer. We were amazed that stories we were making up had some kernel of truth in them.
Yeah, actual validity. That's great.
Yeah. And how great to have Gary in the movie commentating when he's going to take a hooded 7-iron off the shitter.
and when he grabs the drink dispenser, I don't know why, because it's been a while since I had seen it. And when I was watching it again for this podcast, oh man, it's so great. Everything. And JT and I talk about this all the time when we did Bull Durham and White Man Can't Jump. There's just small things that you put into these that are just great, man. It just makes it so memorable. It's wonderful. It's wonderful. When JT and I were talking about, do you play golf, by the way, still, or do you?
I play not nearly as much as I would like or as I used to. I used to play quite a bit, and
because in
been too busy.
Well, in that article you were talking about more of a like a rich kid country club type sport, and this comes out in '96. I didn't graduate high school until '96, so after this, there's this movie and Happy Gilmore and stuff like that. It makes us feel like maybe we can play golf too, and we start to find these courses that are out in the middle of nowhere in the country back here.
In Louisiana, it would just be like a cow pasture that was cut really short.
There's hole 7 and hole 3 are the same green. You're just two people coming at it. But to me, that's what I liked about this movie. So the workplace in the beginning where he's working at a driving range, why? I don't even know how I want to ask this. To me, that's the best part of how this whole thing sets up. It feels attainable because he just works at a driving range. Sure, he's kind of good, but he ends up being awesome.
You touch on the reason one of the main reasons John and I made the story is, we grew up as public golf course kids without, any money, and stand in line at 5:30 in the morning. And I remember where I grew up, the public course on Christmas was open to anybody. It had a sign in the first tee, "Merry Christmas," and guys would go out.
Nice.
And I didn't join a private club. I'm not a member anymore, but until, I don't know, around the time we made Tin Cup, to be honest, and I got a member of Riviera for a while. And so that was my first time really to experience that sort of, Tiffany version of golf, which is fun. But John and I are both, shitheels of Salome, to use the term. Those are the followers of Roy McAvoy. And we wanted to make a movie that returned golf to its blue-collar roots, even though the story was going to end up in this cathedral of golf. So that's why there's so much at the driving range and all those little other courses where he's playing with a hoe, a rake, and a whatever.
A shovel, yeah.
Those were just courses around Tucson, Arizona. And because the movie was really made for those lunch bucket guys who are standing in line. And
that's us, yes.
At the public track somewhere.
Yeah,
Well, the production design for the driving range was much closer to the courses that Jeff and I grew up playing, like Volkswagen Bug, collecting the balls, and like eating hot dogs like out of a jar. Like just that was us.
Well, that's I mean, Kevin grew up like that too. His dad worked for the phone company or something, and the production designer Jim Bissell is one of the great production designers. I mean, he just has a great eye for that. We built that cafe and turned it into a pro shop, and then we had to dismantle everything there and return it to its ecologically pure thing.
Nice.
Nothing there.
Yeah.
But it was one of the great things is we were shooting and cars started pulling in wanting to. They thought it was a real driving
Actual range. Oh, that's great.
Oh man.
Oh, that's great.
Well, you mentioned Kevin Costner, and I wanted to ask about him because to me this is such an iconic, underrated Costner performance. Like this part is such a meatball right in his strike zone as an actor. How early on were you thinking about him for this part?
John and I didn't have an idea, and then we got to about page 20 because he was writing in Portland, Oregon, and I was writing in L.A. And we were working on things, and I don't know who called who first said, this is perfect for Kevin, who we both knew, and of course I'd made a movie with, and from that moment on, every line was written for Kevin in our head, because Kevin, when I turned it into the studio, they said, well, golf, I don't know, if you can get Costner, we'll make it. And Kevin had just announced he was going to take, the year off or 8 months off because he just finished probably Waterworld, to be honest.
Waterworld, yeah.
And I sent it to him and I said, read it and have breakfast with me. You pick the spot and tell me to my face you're not going to do this movie. And so he picked this little place called Patty's Diner. It's like in Ventura Boulevard. It's just absolutely lunch bucket,
Great.
ham and eggs kind of joint. And we go there, and he's cursing me. Can I curse on the podcast?
Of course, yeah, of course.
Motherfucker, I love this goddamn thing. Yeah, fuck. I said, will you start shooting in mid-September? And he goes, yeah, okay, fuck, yeah, I gotta call my agent.
That's great.
So it was the receipt for the bill. The waitress comes over. It's one of those paper ones, pre-electronic, where you tear off the tab, the little thing.
Oh, yeah, the little tab.
That's your record, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember this. It was $19.27 for 2 breakfasts.
Oh.
And I took that over right out of there, because this place was close to Warner Brothers, and I had a deal at Warner's, and he had a deal at Warner Brothers. And so I went over there, and a guy named Terry Simmel was the head of production for 22 years, in their glory years. And I didn't have an appointment with him. It was about 10 in the morning, and I went to the secretaries, and I said, tell Terry I need 5 minutes with him between meetings or calls. 5 meetings. 5 minutes. So I go in, and I hand him this little thing, $19. He said, what's this? I said, I got Kevin Costner for mid-September, and this $19 is going to cost you $15 million, which is that's what Kevin got at the time. So
that's great.
That's how the movie got made.
Man,
yeah,
that's great. And you really, I know you're saying like after page 20 or whatever, it feels like you. Like I could tell you were writing for his voice. It's just, it flows out of him so perfect.
I'm glad you said it's an underrated performance, because comedies are always underrated by people, and they're harder than anything to do. Tootsie should have won Best Picture, not Gandhi. Okay,
we talk about it all the time. We do.
That's great and timeless pictures. Anybody watch Gandhi a second time? I couldn't get to it.
We talk about this all the time. Comedy is so hard, and it is not appreciated.
And I lost my train of thought on that, but it doesn't matter.
Well, Kevin gives a great comedic performance in this.
Oh yeah, he's actually playing a version of Nuke at 40. So in a certain way, he's played Crash Davis and Nuke.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Not the deep thinker, the kind of guy stumbling around, led by his loins.
Yeah,
comic book reader.
And he's got a gift, but he's his flaw in that, as a human empathetic flaw, Roy McAvoy in that movie is not and this is my observation of most people, it's not that he's afraid of losing, he's afraid of winning. And I've always felt more people are afraid of winning than losing, because then the expectations eat you alive.
Yeah. And you got to live up to it, right?
John Wooden said the worst thing ever happened to him winning 2 straight with no player over 6'4", because now they wanted him to win every year. Remember, he came back and blew Duke out, and then he blew somebody else out, and then he won like 9 out of 10 in a row, or 10 out of 11 or something, with different players, and then he loses, and then Walton graduates, and Jabbar graduates, Lou Alcindor, and they go, oh, he's done, and he won another one with nobody you ever heard of.
Exactly.
And he beat North Carolina. It's like, and he said he won all those in a row, and then he lost one, and they were calling for his job in L.A. He's lost it. I swear to you.
That's how fast it swings.
Expectations in everything, not just sports. Is a killer.
Well, since you bring that up, so because my 13-year-old's watching through his fingers like this when he keeps going in the water, because he just knew it was going to happen. And yeah, he's just give me another one. Is Roy more scared of losing or having to live as a winner? Like, what do you think?
I think in the third act, he faces winning, and he wants to win even bigger than is possible. He wants immortality.
Right.
So in a certain way, he's now finally going for it and risking everything, and that's his greatness. Up until he meets the woman, he's afraid of winning.
Yeah,
that's why he's a big fish in the world's littlest pond, and all of those losers that he surrounds himself with call him the legend.
Right, of course, yeah.
And he's not even a good hustler. He gets hustled by Don Johnson. So.
I know.
Yeah,
and it's excruciating to watch, because to me, and I sat the bench at a small college as a football player, so I was not an athlete on the level of you, but to me, watching unrealized potential is brutal, because I had buddies like that who had every gift in the world, like Nuke, but had no discipline and no desire to work. And so just watching him send him into the drink is like, and I was trying to figure it out, because we have to talk about it on the podcast, and I'm going, I think, is it maybe just that he's just decided, like, he cannot be the guy who lays up even if it costs him the Open? Like, his principles mean that to him?
At that point, he really is not afraid of winning anymore. He wants to win so big. He wants to shoot a score nobody will ever. So at that, he's thrown caution to win there. That's why it's a triumphant failure to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you've done this in several of your movies. It's almost, it's kind of a hallmark, especially of your sports movies. And Jeff and I talked about it before you got on, and maybe you could speak to it a little bit. It seems like you have a real interest as a former high-level athlete of showing that athletics is not necessarily like the win one for the Gipper, come up in the bottom of the ninth, hit the walk-off while it fades to black. Like, you want to show, like, this is kind of what it's really like.
That's the best part of it.
Have I made that up, or is there something to that?
No, that's exactly right. I have a hard time sitting in the stands of any sport to hear how little the fans understand what's actually happening out there, and it makes me crazy.
Yeah.
I can't really go to games. I'm always, even I go to my son's games, and he's a senior in college, but even in high school, he's in the Midwest, so I only can stream him, which is why I have to get off this in about 10 minutes, because he's got a game streaming.
No, absolutely.
But I walk around, I can't sit, I can't listen to people. I see a different game of baseball. I know that the pitcher just threw a ball to the leadoff hitter in the third inning, and what the odds are that guy's going to not only get on base, he's going to score a run that beats us.
Right.
And now he threw another ball. I'm watching a totally different game.
Yeah.
The fans. And I wanted to make movies that from the athlete's point of view.
That's great.
That's all.
Yeah, and you can feel the authenticity of them, and I think it's one of the things that we love about them. Jeff, let's get a couple more questions in there before we got to let him go.
Yeah, but actually, I'm glad you brought up, JT, the thing about the real ending, because I heard, or as I was reading one of those articles, they said that the studio wanted him to win. They wanted Roy to pull it out at the end. Did you fight that?
You always fight. Every movie's a fight. But greenlit with this ending, and then when we finished shooting, the head of, not Terry Semmel, but the head of actual production took another job, and two new guys came in, and so they hadn't really signed on to what we were doing, and they were like, "What?" They go to the screening, they didn't know he was going to make a 12, and they made this argument, and I said, "Well, you will not only have no movie, you won't have a star, you'll be laughed off the screen if he makes the shot." And audiences dug the movie, so that argument went away.
That's great.
But my capper story is we did a big premiere in LA, then we did another mini premiere in New York City, and a real estate developer named Donald Trump came to it with Marla, his du jour girl.
Right.
Or wife du jour, and he
A real estate developer.
and after the thing, and I know who he is. Everybody knows who he is. He's a guy who can't get a loan in New York. That's who he is.
Right.
And the publicist said, Donald Trump would like to meet you, say hi, because he's a golfer. So it's fine. So he comes over. And I don't yet know what as big a horse's ass is now. No.
Now you know.
He
Cover your
comes
wallet
over
with both hands.
with Marla, and he says, just like this is not a hello, how are you, enjoyed the film. He says, let me tell you how you could have made a better picture. First of all, you go in the editing room, that's what you do. I know how to do that, and you change it. You can re-edit it so he makes a 3, he hits the eagle, he wins. It'll sell more, it'll do greater business. And Marla's kind of looking at me, rolling her eyes like, I know he's my guy, but well, you fucking married him, so don't roll your eyes. So and then I get ready for my speech. My speech is this. This will go back to when I'm arguing for our ending.
Yeah.
I said, if Ingrid Bergman walked away with Bogart instead of Paul Honreid at the end of Casablanca, you do not remember the movie.
Of course.
I said, if
course.
Tin Cup makes a 3 and wins it, there's no movie.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So I start, if Ingrid Bergman, he turns around, he walks off with Marla. So that's my Donald Trump story.
That's a great one. I know they kind of infamously remade White Men Can't Jump Without Involving You, which Jeff and I agree is a travesty. If they did that to Tin Cup, I feel like they might give it the Donald Trump ending.
Oof, I don't want that.
Well, yeah, and what happened to White Men is it still enrages me, and that's the business we're in, folks. That's the business we're in.
Yeah.
Right.
And I was fully prepared to make White Men Can't Jump 20 years, 25 years later, which would be new, fresh, original, and I'd have new characters, but I'd have the old characters do cameos. John and I have a great treatment of Tin Cup 2, which is really next generation.
Man, we're ready now.
And we can't get them to make it yet. It's so good. It is so good.
So all right. So is that just a money thing? They don't want to come up with the money. Can you not find, like we talk about it all the time? Some of these movies that are rom-coms or sports movies or comedies, they can't get made because there's no superheroes in it. Can you get it made through like Netflix, or is that not something you want to do? Or
no, I'd gladly make it through Netflix. The rights are tied up at Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers is now owned by David Ellison, which is basically Donald Trump and Jared Kushner, and they just bought Paramount and Warner, so it's all now. Can I get it made? Maybe, but it's going to take 5 years for the dust to settle on the new.
Right.
And there's and I don't know.
And one of the things that the sports movies that we really love, and the 90s is an incredible time for sports movies, but we talk about, like, A League of Their Own is one of Jeff and my favorite movies. I believe that's Gans and Mendel, Penny Marshall. Yeah. But, like, they had tryouts before they had auditions. And you did that for Bull Durham and for White Men Can't Jump. And that is a critical step for a sports movie, making sure the actors can play or look like they can play.
Yeah.
Which seems like it's kind of gone away.
We go step outside and play catch. I mean, all you need to do is throw the ball once and let them throw it once. That's it. Your audition's over, you're out, you're in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when I was out of town on Bull Durham, I'd already gone down to Durham about 3 days before we shot, and we lost a couple of our players due to other movies conflicts. And the casting director called and said, "Well, I can't play catch with them in the hallway in New York." And I said, "Put a baseball and a bat in the room." I said, "A ball player will not be able to enter that room without either picking up the baseball or the bat."
That's genius.
You can't. No,
Yeah.
because it's their comfort zone.
Right.
And a guy's going to hold the ball a certain way or hold the bat a certain way. And I said, so then after you've done the interview, do your Polaroids, because it's pre-digital, of the guy holding the bat.
Yeah.
And I hired 2 guys off of that are in the infielders.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
You could tell by the Polaroid that they know how to hold the bat, that that's not their first time.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's wonderful. That's wonderful.
Well, listen, thank you so much for your time. We'll let you go watch your son, but this is great, and we're excited to record our actual episode and talk about the movie now.
Thanks,
Yes,
guys. I
thank you
appreciate
so
it.
much, man.
Okay.
So much.
All right.
Thanks.
All right, my first quote is. You aren't actually pausing.
Is this how they do commercial breaks on TV
We're gonna
shows?
put that in post. My first quote is from Romeo, from Cheech Marin, and it's like, well, David Sims may be a soulless robot, but he's rich, happy, soulless robot with a beautiful doctor lady girlfriend. Besides, how getting in the open going to change what she thinks about you? And then Roy goes, well, it'll show her I'm not who she thinks I am, but you are who she thinks you are. That shit kills me, dude. His delivery is fantastic. I love Cheech Marin in this
There's
movie.
nothing to not love about Cheech. So my whole thing is when Cheech is my first one is when Cheech is trying to help him because he's got the shanks. He just can't hit it straight, and he's warming up and he's hitting a bucket of balls before he goes out there. And he's just freaking shanking them right down the line. He's like hitting the people next
At
to
the
him.
U.S.
He's-
Open with the brand new titleists.
Right, with the brand new titleist. And Cheech is like, all right, I'll tell you what to do. Look, take all the change and put it in your left-hand pocket. Do it now. Now tie your left shoe in a double knot. He's like, now turn your hat around backwards and stick this T behind your left ear. He's like, I look like a fool. He's like, what do you think? You look like hitting chili peppers up Lee Jansen's ass. Oh my God. Just his delivery of, what do you think you look like hitting chili peppers up Lee Jansen's ass is fantastic.
Dude,
Fantastic.
he has so many funny lines like that. He's like, he's like, this is for when he's like, he's gonna freaking hit another one instead of laying up. He's like, this is for whatever, the golf commentator. And dude, and Cheech just says this, he's like, yeah, what does he know? He only won this tournament before you were born.
Yeah. Oh man, Cheech was a good choice. I'm so glad that he did it because it was
It
was fantastic.
It's
Yeah,
the
it was
best.
fantastic.
And I almost put the scene in there where he came back from the sectionals and he was trying to get Cheech to go back to be his caddy.
Yeah.
He's like, did you like me as much as Earl? He's like,
Yeah,
I
he's
wasn't
like,
thinking
look,
about
look.
you when I was with him.
I love Earl, okay, but I need you.
No, Early's a walking heart attack. He cost me 3 strokes aside. I had to carry the bag.
More than Earl? You look more than Earl? Am I special?
But I really wanted to put that scene in there. I just didn't have room. But my next quote is the one we already talked about. When he says to Don Johnson, you ever shoot par with a 7-iron? And Don Johnson goes, hell, Roy, it never even occurred to me to try.
Yeah, dude, there's 2 things I'll say about that. One, that was my next quote. And also, the way that you said Don Johnson's line is exactly how Don Johnson says it. And that's exactly how I say it every time I say it.
Again,
And that's
dude,
awesome.
It's also
Dude, that's awesome.
It's the perfect call and response of their 2 characters.
Yeah.
Like Roy is thrilled that he just shot par with a 7-iron, and freaking Don Johnson's like, why the fuck would you even try to do that? What's
Why?
the point of
Yeah.
it? Like, it's the
I
absolute
like
you could
that Don.
just-
Dude, I love that was well written.
He's great casting
perfectly
too, man.
acted.
He's perfect.
Yeah, so good, so good. All right,
What's
so
your
my
last
third
quote?
one, my last one is something that I say quite often, but nobody knows where it's from, and I'm okay with that. Every time we have to go start doing something before I'm ready, like, hey, we got to go back to the back by the football field because the seniors are about to do something. I'm always like, I got time for a quick bucket. Every time, and nobody knows what I'm talking about. I say it to the people that I talk to the most at school, and they don't know what I'm talking. They just glaze over and keep going. They just, all right, Horn's talking about a bucket again. Nobody knows, because he shows up late for his tee off
and hungover for his
tea
tea
time.
time.
Yeah,
and it's
yeah.
like coming up now, Roy McAvoy out of Salome, Texas. He's like, "Do I got time for a quick bucket?" Like, you're on
Dude, I
right
freaking
this
love
very
it.
second, or you're going to be disqualified.
Yeah, let the big dog eat, man. Just do it. Let the big dog eat.
Give me the good stuff. Yeah, man, that's a great one. I had a hard time again with the last quote because there's so many good lines.
Yeah.
In this, but I ended up with there's no such thing as semi-platonic. Well, there ought to be.
There ought to be. I like how that's a nice callback at the very end when they do that and they're laying on the couch, not watching TV, just enjoying each other's company. That's how you can tell they're newly dating. That is.
You can also tell they're newly dating because they both fit on the same couch.
In a Winnebago. No, that wasn't in the Winnebago. That wasn't in the Winnebago. Yeah, dude, that's a good one. There at the river. Well, it's a river to me, and it's just great. It's great. Good call.
Oh
man. All right, best characters. Who's your first one? It's got to be
Roy
10,
McAvoy,
10 Cup.
Kevin
Yeah.
Costner, 10 Cup.
10 Cup. Yeah. I love
He's just. I mean, I said it to Ron Shelton, man. This is exactly right, dead smack in Kevin Costner's strike zone. This like,
No pun
goofy,
intended.
funny, like, like male lead, but like he looks like he could play sports, and he's kind of
Yeah.
screw up, but it's funny and everyone likes him. Like it's perfect.
Yeah. Yeah. And I heard that he practiced golf ahead of time. You were talking about how he, what's his name? McCord.
Well, the story was Gary McCord, who a lot of the golf in this movie, a lot of the golf stories, like the pelican in the bar and then like shooting the ball into the water until you get a 15, stuff that Gary McCord actually did, including like hitting the hooded 7-iron off of the porta potty that Gary McCord commentates in the movie.
That's
He's like,
great.
He actually did that.
That's
so
great.
Kevin Costner took golf lessons from Gary McCord. He didn't know how to play golf. He learned for this movie, and a lot of the golf in the movie that 10 Cup is doing is actually Kevin Costner.
That's the best part, right? That's what, and that's why you were saying that whole tryout thing with Shelton, dude. So like Don Johnson was talking about him and Kevin Costner were both single. They're both making a movie, and they're both just playing golf and just having lots of fun every time the camera's not rolling. That sounds delightful.
Yeah, man.
What are we doing that we're not doing that part right?
Yeah, we're doing none of that. I like that. I also like, and we talked to Ron Shelton about, but I read his book recently, which is about the making of Bull Durham, and he was kind of talking about like Kevin Costner when he was going to make Bull Durham. Kevin Costner really wanted to do it, but he was like attached to doing some other stuff, and Kevin Costner. This is Ron Shelton's first movie, Bull Durham, that he's written and directed, and Kevin Costner's like, I want to audition for you, and Ron Shelton's like, you're Kevin Costner, you don't have to audition. He's like, no. He's like, I played baseball in high school, you played professionally. I need you to make sure I can do it. I make sure I can pull it off. And they freaking got in their cars and like drove to the valley and went to a batting cage, and like they just pulled baseballs and gloves out of their trunks and just threw it back and forth. And he said, just like he said to us, he's like, he threw the ball to me one time. That's all it takes. I can tell he knows how to play baseball.
You could tell, yeah.
And then we went to the batting cages and like we just talked about the script, and like he showed me that he was a switch hitter in high school, and I was like, that's great, because that means when I'm shooting you, I can always get the light behind you. That'll be amazing for the movie.
God, genius.
Like I freaking love stuff like that.
Yeah.
Who's your second character?
Dude, I had to put Cheech. Super loyal, long-suffering caddy. I like how he's like kind of Roy's conscience, but Roy could still block him out or break all his clubs to get past it. Dude, this is like a stealth MVP performance from Cheech. Like, I think he's funny. He's super super grounded. He's
a great
like,
dude.
He doesn't overplay it. Like, dude, I just thought
he's
he was
on my
good.
list. Also, he's got a bunch of the best lines in this movie. Like, he's freaking, like, Tin Cup tells him, he's like, if I had to do it all over again, I'd still hit that shot. And Romeo is like, man, you bury yourself alive just to prove you can handle a shovel.
Yeah. That's. Yeah.
And then,
Cheech
like, what was the other one? Oh God, there's one that I really wanted to put in my quotes. It's like, I have one rule, and it's like, don't bet money you don't have on a dog race, because then you end up owing it to your stripper girlfriend.
Yeah.
Some kind of line. God, dude, that's a freaking great line.
I do the stripper girlfriend. What's her name? Linda Hart.
Linda Hart.
Dude,
she's great.
She was great. She was really good.
Never bet money that you don't have on a dog race with an ex-girlfriend who happens to be a stripper.
Can you dance? Can he dance, you think?
Cheech Marin as Romeo, his best friend / caddy, is incredible casting, and he's stealing scenes this whole movie, and he's delightful.
Yeah.
He's my second character. Also, who's your third character?
Dude, it was toss up. Do you do Don Johnson and his great hair, or do you do Renee Russo and her great hair? I wanted to put Renee Russo because I don't like when we do all guys. But dude, I just love Don Johnson. He was super smug. He's just safe, playing it safe, you know. I'll take 18 of those pars. And like, it's just super detestable rival. And it's hard to hate him because he's Don Johnson and he's not even like, he's telling the truth, but like, you just gotta hate him because he's the bad guy. He's the bad guy, and then it like really shows it at the end. I love it. I love it. So I went with
Don Johnson is awesome in this. He's a perfect
David
foil
Sims.
for Kevin Costner. Even though, like, truthfully, if you flip-flopped those two actors, this movie would be probably pretty close because they're both good. They could both play the other role, but like they're so great where they are.
Yeah.
I went Renee Russo, number 3, because I love Renee Russo. She's incredible in this movie. And, like, looking back, dude, we did Major League on Patreon. We did Lethal Weapon 3, Major League 2, Outbreak, Get Shorty. This is, like, the 6th Renee Russo movie we've done. She freaking never misses. Every time we do a Renee Russo movie, I always come on here and go, Renee Russo was awesome.
Yeah, she is. I really hope we are still doing this for Big Trouble, the one with Tim Allen, because I loved her in that.
2002? 7 years?
2002, Jesus, maybe.
I just want to be doing it for the Thomas Crown Affair, which is nice.
Yeah. Is that, who's that, Bronson, Pierce Bronson?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like
that one. And Dennis Leary. Also, she's in Ransom this year, which we're probably going to do, so like we'll see her again real soon.
I remember Ransom.
That's what I'm saying. I wonder if she'll do podcast interviews. She's freaking great. Like, hey, we've done 9 of your movies. Would you talk to us?
She's great.
But yeah, man, you can't. Those are kind of the top 4, I think, in any order. You've got Don Johnson. I've got Renee Russo. They were both amazing.
Absolutely.
Writer director
Ron Shelton. Just talked to him. Great dude. Yeah. I like the way he writes it. I like the way he directs it. There's nothing I don't like about the stuff he does.
Nothing I don't like. Even the movies of his that were not like critical successes are like, oh, I like that movie. Freaking Great White Hype. Dude, I like that movie.
Are you kidding me?
And
I freaking love that movie.
He's one of the 2 credited writers on Bad Boys 2 in 2003. I wanted to ask him about it. We ran out of time. There was like 30 people who rewrote the Bad Boys 2 script. I don't know how much of it he ended up being responsible for, but he's one of the 2 that are credited. The Writers Guild does care about that, so probably a good chunk of that.
That's great.
Like, that movie's freaking badass. We did Blue Chips like 2 years ago or whatever. That shit was awesome.
He
did co-write this with John Norville, and so we should also mention him.
The only thing I've known that he's done other than what he's done other than this one is the Jungle Cruise movie that my kids love so much.
Yeah.
My thing is when looking at the Great White Hype, how do you like? I don't know how you write Jamie Foxx's character and Jeff Goldblum's character. Like, a Merlot Broham. Like, looking at the 2 guys who wrote this, I just couldn't picture them writing the words that are coming out of these guys' mouths, and he kills it. Just
well,
kills
if we do Great White Hype, which is also in '96, maybe we can email him and ask him that question. Anytime I see a movie that has a bunch of people that I know are talented improvisers, like Damon Wayans and like Jamie Foxx, I just assume they got to like
Sam
put a lot of their own on it.
Yeah.
But anyway, he co-writes this movie with John Corville. Corville or Norville? Stand by.
It is Norville with an N.
I got it wrote down wrong in my notes. John Norville, and then he directs it, and that's kind of all. I mean, you've heard us talk to him for 30 minutes. That's who did it.
Yeah. Did you have any other good? Like I saw that. I mean, there's a bunch of cameos from different PGA players. Young Phil Mickelson was there. Craig Stadler was there. Who's the one who walks up and asks him for asked Rene Russo for a card? I can't even remember now.
I was just trying to find that name because the other golfers were going like giving her business at the end. They're like, "Hey, we saw what you did for 10 Cup. Could we love you help us with the head game part of golf?" Yeah,
I like that that they were actually in there. I like that they threw some Kebmo in there. That was fantastic for me. The Chris Isaak song, I Wonder, I couldn't remember where I've heard that before, and I want to say it's what's the Matthew Perry movie with Salma Hayek? Fools Rush In. I think it's in that one. I heard it this time, and I was like, snap, that's fantastic. And a bunch of those songs were like Bruce Hornsby songs. Mm-hmm. I freaking love me some Bruce Hornsby. It's just, I mean, dude's still around, still making music. I know that was part of the thing that you said you didn't like about the whole thing was the soundtrack.
Some of the music that I didn't like, but some of it I really liked. Like, dude, Bruce Hornsby and freaking Chris Isaak and Kebmo, Jimmy Vaughn, I'm in for all that.
Yeah. Any other good?
No, I mean, we talked a little bit before we started recording about some of the alternate people they talked about casting, like John Leguizamo instead of Cheech. I'm sure that would have been good. I love John Leguizamo, but Cheech Marin was so good.
Cheech killed it.
And like this, you could put a lot of people into the like kind of top 3 or 4, top 3 for sure, and the movie would, I think, still work. But everybody in it just gave such a great performance. I'm so happy.
Yeah,
that they didn't do that.
Yeah, it was good. It was way good.
Yeah, man. Let's do the worst.
Okay, what you got for worst?
I talked about it already. I mean, 134 minutes, 138 minutes, a little bit too. If it's 220, I'd like for it to be like 2 hours instead of 220. But I don't even have anything I would take out. Right. So
220, 221, whatever it takes.
Yeah, 220, 221. I turn it up, I turn it down.
It's all ball bearings these days.
And I wanted to ask him about that too, honestly, because it's longer than most of his other sports movies. And I know this was a Warner Brothers. Like, did the studio give him grief about that? And did they have to fight? Like, you know, why did they kind of land where they landed? Because studios care a lot about that because, especially in the 90s, because if the movie's longer, you don't get as many screenings in a day and you don't make as much money. Right. Now I don't think they care nearly as much about that because they're making their money elsewhere on movies. But
yeah, nobody's watching it in the theater. We should have asked him how we saved the theater. What about effects, dude? The rain looked pretty good in this one. You know, that's my biggest. Every time there's a rain scene, I always check that out. This one was pretty good. It was a pretty good rain scene.
We mentioned it with him. The production design to me was great. The freaking Winnebago and the driving range, and he said they just built that in Texas, or I guess they've shot in Arizona or wherever. But fantastic. Yeah.
When I got to Old Tech Alert, the only thing I put was pleated khakis everywhere.
Yeah, dude. It was. I mean, baggy pleated khakis was definitely the move. What about payphones?
Yeah, there's payphones. There was also 1 or 2 big brick cell phones, like the big cell phones. You could tell it's the 90s, but I don't think that changes. Like, maybe it's because, let me ask you this, because I think about this a lot. You're watching a movie that's from the 50s. You know it's filmed in the 50s, so there's certain things that you know are going to be 1950s type stuff.
Yeah, everyone's smoking unfiltered cigarettes.
Right. You're watching a movie from the 90s. Do you just automatically do that? Or because we grew up in it, we're like, yeah, that looks right. A big brick cell phone and some payphones.
Dude, I wonder that. I wonder that about sports, because like if I see a highlight from the 90s Bulls, like I recognize that it's not as crisp as the games I watch now.
Yeah.
But it doesn't, I don't go like, oh, that's some old-timey basketball there.
Yeah.
I go like, I remember that. But if I watch like a freaking, black and white, like Bob Pettit Celtics shit, I'm like, oh, that seems like this is 200 years ago.
Right.
And I think it's just because I didn't grow up with it, is to answer your question. I think if I grew up with it, I go like, that seems fine to me.
Yeah, because this all
Before that,
seemed
I'm like,
fine.
why? Yeah, I'm like, this is all...
It doesn't seem dated at all. That's why I was having trouble with the old tech, because I'm like, pleated khakis.
Well, dude, this is like the birdcage. This movie, including the costuming, fits perfectly into 2026.
Yeah.
Like baggy, flamboyant clothes and people playing golf, and there's no tech really in the movie. You're good. You're ready. The strip club would just be on OnlyFans now, but otherwise it would be exactly the same.
Everybody's just watching it on their screen instead of in real life. That's no fun.
Dude, what I want to know is his idiot buddies that hung around the driving range. Well, everybody gets what they get. The cart guy gets, what? Four. Like, what do those guys all do for a living? Where does their money come from?
They all just do stuff around the thing.
Because they're all just hanging. Do they just all hang out at the driving range instead of money laundering operation?
I don't think
the guy driving the cart that picked up the balls got $4 an hour, and Kevin Costner, the driving range pro there, got $7 an hour.
Yeah. That's 1996. I was making minimum wage $4.25 an hour at Eckerd at the time.
Yeah. Kevin Costner was making almost twice what you were.
God, bastard.
Not even counting all the beer nuts he took out of the place and the money he took out of the till.
What are beer nuts?
I don't know, dude.
Is that a thing?
Yeah.
Beer nuts?
Yes.
I've never even heard of that. Like just nuts.
Classic American snack of roasted peanuts with signature sweet and salty glaze. They're produced by Beer Nuts brand snacks and often featured in bars.
I'm gonna have to try these. I didn't even know that was a thing. I thought you just meant like nuts you eat while you drink beer.
Well, that's what they are, but they're called Beer Nuts.
Yeah, but they got something special. It's not just nuts. It's sweet and salty glaze.
It's supposed to make you drink more.
Yeah.
Pretzels are making me thirsty. But yeah, dude, I didn't have a lot of worst. I didn't have any old tech or political correctness.
Did you find for political correctness? I wanted to ask you. Did you feel like it was weird that he was trying to date her? So, like, he was very Pepe Le Pew about the whole thing, and he was very adamant that.
Like in 2026, it makes me uncomfortable. He's like, I'll drive you home, and he pulls his Cadillac over to the side of a deserted river, and he's like drinking out of the flask, and he's like leaning around her on the car, getting real close, talking about semi-platonic. I'm like, seems like she's not into that, and she's kind of trapped there by the river with you.
Yeah, where's my bear spray?
Yeah, it's not played that way at all. It's like he's just being charming and cute, and she's like, oh, this is I really like, but. In my head, I was like, it seems like when she gets home, she's going to post about the sexual assault on her social media.
Hashtag account. Me too, Roy McAvoy.
Like for 2026. I was like, she probably just going to catch an Uber home. I'm guessing.
Driven by an armadillo with a hat. Same. I just thought it was perfect for the 90s. Nobody thought twice about it, but now it seems a bit.
Well, I mean, I am curious about, like, because we're children of the 90s and now we're old guys in 2026, but like when we were living in the 90s, if you really liked a girl and she had a boyfriend, there was nothing at all wrong with going after that girl and being like, your boyfriend sucks, but also, like, what's up? Would you like to go see a movie at some point? Like, that's what we thought you were supposed to do, and I don't think that you're supposed to do that.
That's anymore. I think that's because that's how they did it in the movies. I didn't actually talk to girls.
I didn't either, but I felt like that was what the movie was supposed to do.
Well, I didn't either. Samesies.
I was just a very good friend. A dick in a glass case. In case of emergency.
Emergency, break open glass. Oh, man. He's come to your house. He's sat on your
Chris Rock
couch.
would
He's
say.
eaten your food. And he shall betray you.
All right, 5 questions. Is it okay
All
for
right.
kids? Did your kids watch this?
He didn't watch the whole thing. Jake walked in on the very tail end of it. He was there for the sexy time part, and I think he felt uncomfortable for that.
Sure.
There's a lot of F-bombs, but he just hears that regularly at the house when the dishwasher doesn't get emptied. So I'm not worried about that. And I'm not super worried about the sexy time because it wasn't that gratuitous.
Yeah.
They just made What's-His-Nuts stand out in the rain. But yeah, I say 13. I think this could have been PG-13 had it not been for the F-bombs.
Yeah, and you could really cut back on the F-bombs, get the PG-13, and you wouldn't really lose much of the movie.
Right.
As much as I enjoy the F word, and as much as if you're making a movie about golf, it should involve a lot of F words.
Yeah.
But-
Dude, when he said Costner sat across from him at the diner and started going, shit, fuck. I was like, ooh, he's already talking like a golfer. That's awesome.
Just getting into character right away.
That's great.
Would this movie get made if it were pitched now? Well, the creator of it just told us that they're trying to get 10 Cup 2 made in there. And they're not. It's not happening just yet.
Yeah, nobody wants that, which is a damn shame because
Shocking to me because it's a perfect one to revisit. It wouldn't cost a ton of money. You
That's
probably
what
could
I'm
get
saying.
Some of the original cast back.
freaking
It's not super
mid-budget.
expensive. I mean,
R-rated
it's expensive to shoot if you want to
sports
shoot at the
rom-com.
U.S. Open, but if you construct that,
You could
with a
fake
slightly
the U.S.
different
Open. They faked it. It's fine.
no, that's what I'm saying.
They could do
create-
it.
Computer generate all the crowds.
Yeah, just AI the crowd. Just mid-budget, R-rated
Even though
rom-com
the guy
sports.
who just is trying to get it done has said no one is bitten yet. Jeff and I feel like you should be able to do this again.
Yeah, I feel like that. And if I win the lottery, I mean, I'm not spending it on Tin Cup 2, but
No, we got a lot of other movies we want to remake first. I put a little something on it. I'd invest. I put a little
I
in
got
there.
5 on it.
Yeah.
Oh, man. So it's got to be a movie, though, right? This can't be a...
I would want it. I want movies to be movies. That's how I roll.
Yeah.
It'd be
I
easy
say-
to cast, dude, because Kevin Costner and Rene Russo are in their early 40s. That gives you a shit ton of actors to choose from.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you recast it?
I was thinking about it a little bit, but I didn't land on anybody that I felt like was like a perfect. Who do you got? I keep thinking.
So for David Sims, I picked Glenn Powell because he's in everything, first of all. So that's if you could get him to sign on to be the jerk, which I feel like he could really play, I think that would be good. And then for Roy, dude, I was at a loss. At first, I was like, maybe you could switch it up and make it a girl golfer. And who could be super charming, but then also like looks like they could actually play golf. I came up with Tessa Thompson, who I like, but I don't know. And then I thought John Hamm, I really like him. He's charming, and he looks like he could play sports, but isn't he too old now? Like, I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how to do that.
The person I thought of, only because I think he's hilarious and I follow him on Instagram and he does play golf, is Lamorne Morris.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if he could open a movie, but he cracks me up. I think he would be good at this kind of like golfer
Absolutely.
screw-up guy.
The only other person I had was for Romeo, I wanted Randall Park.
Love that guy.
The guy's hilarious. I don't know if I subconsciously picked him because he's a not white person, but I totally I love him and I like his energy, and I think he would be perfect.
Nice, man. All right. Can you still watch and enjoy in 2026?
Freaking right, you can. It's freaking super frustrating. Ask my kid. It's well shot, well acted, well written. Just even if you don't like golf, it's Kevin Costner, man. His friggin' charisma has aged like fine wine. It's delightful.
It's funny, and it's a good one. I didn't see it like on any streaming services, but you could you watch it on Amazon Prime. You rent it on YouTube or Apple.
Yeah, you can rent it for $3.99. That's the only place I saw it. I watched it on my DVD on my computer.
That's the move with the special features.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you guys for listening. Thanks, Ron Shelton, so much for his time.
Yeah, man, that was so great.
And
what's next?
We'll be back in 2 weeks with Mars Attacks.
Oh, man.
Very excited.
2 branches of government working for you, and that ain't bad. Yeah,
right.
super excited.
Vaya con Dios.
Vaya con Dios.
Thanks for listening to Movie Life Crisis. Please subscribe, rate, and review, and remember, don't drive angry.